We are double check, mic check 1 2. Give me a mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
All right. Let's do this thing.
Do you guys know what it is? It's time for another episode of the Long Haul Life. So let's do this. Welcome back to the Long Haul Life. I'm Russell Roberts, and tonight, this is a Sunday night. I'm at the Pilot in Eloy, Arizona. It's been a month since I talked with y'all, but tonight I'm going to catch you up on where I've been, and we're going to talk a little bit about some CB lingo. So if you ever get on the CB, maybe you'll sound more like a veteran instead of a baby bear, a rookie. So kick back, relax, join me here as we have a little fun with some of the words we use on the CB radio.
What's your 1020? What's your 1020, Lurch?
Roger there, big rubber ducky.
We got us a smoky bear. Over there. Watch yourself.
Full-grown bear there in the back door.
We got one smoky bear in the median, milepost 171.
You know why they call it the comedian?
All right, guys.
Because that's where the jokers hang out.
The comedian. Nice, dude. I hadn't heard that in a while. You're at the right podcast. You guys are at the right. I know that intro didn't sound like the right podcast. You know who that's from, Lurch? Mm-hmm.
Oh, Russell Roberts.
That's right. Russell Roberts. Yeah.
Russell Roberts.
That's right. And if you guys haven't heard that, he's been a patron member, supporter. We want to give him a shout out. He's got his podcast up and going. It's called the Long Haul Life Podcast. Look it up, longhaulife.com. Looks like at the time of this podcast, he's at episode 4. So we just want to give him a little shout out. And I am enjoying listening to it. And he's getting his legs under him and cruising right along. So if you're interested in that, it's all about the long haul life, trucking, long haulers and stuff like that. So, check it out when you get a chance.
It's the Rick Rack jingle.
Oh, yeah. Once you've had Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with the Rick Rack quick attached luggage system and quality bag. Head over lawabidingbiker.com/store and get hooked up now.
Rick Rack.
Hey, Bikeaholics, 03D has a wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. These guys ride and support riders just like you. Head over there, lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of 03D products. That's right. You guys got to hear, Lurch, are you ready for this?
You know I'm ready.
You guys got to hear this.
I got my big boy panties on today. I'm ready.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the big MM, also known as the
99%.
That's right, large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. That's right, by listening, by being here live here at the Law Abiding Biker Podcast. You are part of what we call
the Biker Revolution.
That's right. We're here making the law-abiding biker community great again.
That's going to be tremendous. It's going to be huge. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the best podcast it's ever been.
That's right. We do have one question for everybody out there.
What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
Just listen to this beat. That's right. This beat, guys, is from none other than Pablo Calcerada, right here, patron member of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast. Took the time. He's made jingles before. This is our new jingle, and we love it, and we want to give him a shout out.
He's made our jingle jangle.
That is right. He has made our jingle jangle. That's right. Welcome back. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast.
And your high-tech redneck.
There you go. And that is the man, the myth, the legend. You know it. You know it. Don't blow my ears out, okay? Back off. Back off. Here we go. Very nice audible levels right there. That's good, dude. And that is Lurch on the sofa here. We've had a heck of a day, and I just want to give you guys a heads up what this episode is going to be about. Of course, this is live. It is a patron member only live broadcast, and we announced it on patreon.com. That's lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. And you get access to stuff like this. And we also posted it in that private Facebook group, that forum, for you guys, all you patron paying members. And we've had some questions about that. Yes, here in 2018, most of our live stuff is going to be exclusive to patron members because that's what they wanted. And we found it worked very well. Lurch kind of came up with that. We might pop, if you're listening in podcast format later, of course, everything we do comes out in regular podcast, but it'll be well over a month because we batch process that this will be out. But we may pop a couple public lives.
Yeah, here and there.
But mostly it's going to be reserved for our paying members, our patrons. So if you want to live chat with us, you want to be involved with this awesome live experience, then you got to get signed up as a patron. And I just told you how. So there you go. And thanks again, Pablo Calcerado, for that opener song. This episode, so you know what it's going to be about, and we hope to have some great chat with you guys. It's going to be all about motorcycle lithium-ion batteries, which is your traditional motorcycle battery that comes stock versus motorcycle lithium. Back up.
Batteries.
It's going to be lead acid batteries, which is your stock battery that comes with your traditional heavy lead acid batteries versus lithium-ion, a lighter, more expensive option. And I did do a video on this, and it's actually gotten tons of attention. It's very quick, very snappy, and it's got a ton of information. I will put it in the show notes. And in fact, I know you guys can't watch it while you're watching this live, but I will send you the link. That is the website article, and there's a video there. And we actually got the battery I used in that, Lurch, was a twin power lithium-ion. I didn't have any affiliation with that company, guys. I'll just tell you that I didn't at first. I just was going to do a review. I bought the battery myself. I never even contacted the company. And I put that out.
Good things about the product? Is that why you went with it?
Yeah, I had heard, and we were using it in our police bikes.
Okay.
Yep. So I had heard about it, and good question. And so I did it, and within a week of popping that video, I got a contact from that company directly, overwhelmed with the video and how awesome it was put together, and how informational it was. And they're reaching out to me, and they want to maybe start a sponsorship type deal. So there you go. As we grow here at Lab Media, I wasn't expecting that at all. And I just put myself out there and trying to do great, solid content. And there you go. We have the company direct getting a hold of me. And like I say, I never reached out to them. So hopefully it helps a lot of you guys out there. But that's what we're going to talk about on this episode. We're going to break some of that down in audio format. And hopefully we can get some chat going. And we already got a ton of chat going in the patron-only private event here. And thanks, everybody, for being there here tonight. So awesome. And this episode also, Lurch, made possible, of course, we've got our sponsors as we did up front and all that. But of course, this episode also made possible by our lovely patrons, guy. There you go.
We've got John Post of Flower Mound, Texas. Jay Looney of Athens, Alabama. He's top tier. And Richard Mihalich of Milton Freewater, Oregon, just down the road from us.
Look at that. Stephen Cox of Redmond, Washington, right across the hills from us. Robert Roberts of Nar Warren, South Victoria, Australia. Top tier. Todd Myers of Kennewick, Washington, down where our Law Abiding Biker store is housed.
And Jack Marvin of Dothan, Alabama. Jay Kaminsky of Flowery Branch, Georgia. He's top tier. And Dale Cunningham of Midvale, Utah, also top tier.
lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No risk to you because you can put a monthly cap, stay in your family budget. There are benefits like stickers and t-shirts, that private Facebook group, up to premium videos. That's right, our premium videos up on request. And obviously, these very live events, private only, there you go. Thank you guys. The patrons really are making everything possible. So me and Lurch spent the day in the shop today filming some new videos. We're not going to talk about that too much because we're going to talk about it in another episode that will come out in podcast format. But nonetheless, just a quick update before we get going. The Law Abiding Biker shop and studio, all of you that have supported it, is still underway. I'm getting the bulk of it done. I had to tweak some things, and that's okay. We had the fire and the store fire. I'm not going to get into that. We've done an episode on it. It is going, and we're at least going to be able to move into it, hopefully in April, coming up very soon. By the time this episode airs, not live, it will probably at least partially be in it. But I just want to say that here you go. Today, we didn't want to move anything in because the contractors are still working on a lot of stuff. But today it was going to rain, and it was going to rain hard, and we needed to film. And this our regular garage was too crowded. So anyways, Lurch right there got to take his bike and be the first bike to ever drive inside the new law-abiding biker garage.
I rode into the new law-abiding biker shop and podcast studio, and I broke the hymen on that door.
Nice, dude. You did. It was kind of sentimental, dude, because you're always going to be able to remember as we do stuff in the law-abiding biker garage.
I'm going to remember trudging through that loose gravel, that thick, because you just put down some 5/8 minus that was very clean, so there wasn't a whole lot of dirt in it, so it's kind of loose. And I had to give a little bit of, I was trying not to spin the rear tire, but I still dug in a little bit. I was trying to get that gray area on that clutch.
Yes.
Not spin, but yeah, dug in, but I made it.
Yep. Boop, pop the cherry in the new garage. And I will tell you also that not only that, again, not getting too detailed, but we were in such a hurry because we filmed all day and we were running on crunch time to get here to do this live and all that crap, that we ended up leaving his bike up there. And for a couple shots, we needed his road glide. And we had to run up there really quick. We didn't have time to move it in the regular garage. And we actually filmed. We had enough lighting up there for what we were doing. And I got to test out the new film lighting, LED stuff, overwhelming that I put in there. So we don't need light panels all the time and stuff. Unbelievable. That was the first time I shot with my professional cams in there. And it was just really quick shots. But there you go. So the first film that will be coming out. It's basically GoPro mount stuff, guys, from Ciro, 3D, and Rick Rack. It's all in our store. It's a bunch of GoPro mount videos and stuff. That's what it was. But yeah, there you go. It was exciting.
I feel honored.
Yeah, I know. And I took the first pee in the urinal.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. I would have went out there and peed myself.
You already took your bike in there first.
I thought about turning around, just peeing on the floor and marking it.
No doubt. And yes, the urinal works well. So there you go. Shall we get into our main topic?
Oh, I think it's about time. We've fiddle-farted around enough.
Oh, you know what, Lurch?
What?
Do I have this? Oh, I guess I just have it twice in here. Motorcycle.
No. You got two there. You got a review and a how-to.
Yes, good. So in this episode, guys, I will put it in the show notes. And of course, you guys live, I will put this too, because along with the comparison of the lead acid versus lithium ion, I also did a install video, a really quick how to install a battery video. And I will, again, put it in the show notes. I put it in there in the live feed for you guys there in the chat. But both those videos will be in the show notes. So if you need to know how to install it and you're wondering about the lithium ion versus the lead acid, then I have a full article on that. So you want to start this or you want me to start it, Lurch?
Go ahead, because I'm trying to answer a question in the chat.
So we're going to get right into it. So here's the deal, guys. My battery on my 2014 Street Glide Special it's 18 now. So you're looking at 4 years, somewhere around that, because I brought my bike in the spring or the fall of 2013 when those 14 models just came out. And it was the original battery. And I will tell you that lead acid battery overall never cranked great. It always started the bike, but you had that a little bit. And if you watch that video, you'll see, well, what happened is, and I always tendered it. I'm very good about tendering my batteries to make sure that you get optimal life out of them. So make sure if you're not doing that, even in the summer, if you're going on vacation, you're not riding for 2 weeks, guys, you should be tendering your battery. Here's the reason, especially if you have a lead acid. Basically, lead acid batteries, they lose like 1% per day. Okay. So if you go for 2 weeks, you've just lost basically 20% of your battery. And you don't really want to do that. It's hard on them to keep doing that yo-yo back and forth. So I would strongly suggest, even you think in the summer you're not even storing your bike, but you're not going to ride it for 2 weeks. That's a sin, by the way. But there are circumstances that do that. I strongly suggest tendering it. And in this article, I have all kinds of options for tenders and the batteries that we recommend as we talk through this. If you guys end up going to that article, feel free. I've got our recommendations. Of course, they're all affiliate links. If you go to our article, no additional cost to you, but we get a small kickback if you were to click through and make a purchase on any of the products that we discuss in the video or on this particular podcast. So, of course, in the show notes, I'll put links to this. So make sure you tender. But my battery did go bad this year, and I pulled my bike out. And even though I was tendering it, I had ridden it like 2 weeks prior. But you know, when lead acids go,
they go.
I mean, they slowly go, but when they're on their last leg, they just fucking go.
They just die.
Yeah. And that's what happened. And I pulled my bike out, and I was all ready for a ride, and it gave the old, click, 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 click. We all know what I'm talking about. And I was like, yep, I knew it was going. And I almost did this video in the fall last year because I knew it was getting really tired, that battery. But life got busy, and I kept putting it off. So here I am in a position, where I've got to replace a battery. And I had really, and jump in anytime you want, Lurch.
We have some comments in there.
Okay, well, you stop me anytime because I can keep going. I need to get my notepad because I could get really off track here.
Corey Highmark is agreeing with you. Lead acid batteries lose 1 to 3% of charge every single day, more if the bike has security. Tendering the battery is definitely the way to go.
Yes, and I will tell you, since that question comes up, and thank you for being involved there. In contrast, your lithium-ion batteries only lose 10% per year. So that's amazing. So if I basically take my lithium-ion, and you probably want to disconnect your negative, if you're going to leave your bike for a year, okay, if you were going to do that, you don't really technically need to tender it. What you do need to do is take your negative cable off, because your bike's going to have some sort of parasitic draw, like the alarm and stuff. And as long as that negative cable is off, you literally, you would lose 10%, where, like he says, lead acid is 1 to 3% per day. So that's substantial. So these hold their charge, the lithium ions, very, very well. So I was going to keep it in a different order, but that's what I love about podcasting and questions is we'll just answer questions as they go. So I was up in the air on the lithium ion. So generally speaking, what's the difference between lead acid? Well, lead acid are highly poisonous, batteries. They're extremely heavy, very heavy compared to a lithium ion. And if you get a lithium ion in your hands, guys, if you've never felt one, I digress.
You digress.
Let me do this. So why did I go? We had tested some. So obviously a lot of you know out there, I'm a full-time police motorcycle officer, ride a Harley Davidson Electroglide. We had tested them, not the main battery, but we have to have a second battery on those bikes because in the trunks, we have computers and we run all kinds of lights. So we started making the transition. I think we're going to transition our regular batteries, the ones that start the motor and all that, to lithium ion too. But we started testing them to run our additional equipment. And we started being pretty satisfied with them because we just cannot get our lead acids. We were going through lead acids for whatever reason, like 1 to 2, one battery a year in the trunk to run that extra equipment, because a lot of times your bike's off, right? And you're at the scene of something and you got to leave your lights on and all that. Well, it drains them.
Runs it down so low.
Right. Yeah. And it just kind of ruins them over time. So we were going through these. And so we switched to lead acid, although they're more expensive. We will get into that.
Or correct you.
What I say?
Lithium.
Lithium-ion are so much more expensive. But they're so much more efficient in some ways. And we'll get into that. And we're really liking them. And we've switched all our trunk batteries over. So that's what made me think, if I'm appreciating that at work, I should probably think about my personal bike switching over. Plus, that's what we do here at Law Abiding Biker Media. I was like, why put another lead acid? Let's test a damn lithium ion. We've had a ton of emails on it, and people want to know, right, Lurch? Like I say, that
the Law Abiding Biker community wants to know.
They want to know.
And what a perfect time when your other one took a shit. It was time for a new battery. Why not buck up, Buttercup, and get yourself a lithium ion and test it?
Absolutely. And I figured if I didn't...
That's what you do, man.
That's what we do.
You and we are here to do that. To test stuff out.
And then we have shows about it like this. and get to chat with bikers worldwide about it. It's badass. So yeah, good call. That's what got me hooked to start testing that and for the audience here. And so there you go. Now, where should we go from here, Lurch?
I don't know, because I could smell dinner cooking downstairs.
I know, dude. It smells so good. We didn't get to eat before, so after this one, and then we're going to do a regular recorded one. We're going to eat in between. So let's talk about weight and size. That's the first thing you'll notice about
big difference in weight,
yes.
right?
Oh, I can literally, on that video, you'll see it. I can take, and if you all know lead acid, like you have to lift with two hands. You're not going to reach in unless you're buff like all you guys out there in the law-abiding biker community with one hand and take it out of your battery compartment. Okay, you're going to need to try to get your fingers in there and get two hands. A lithium-ion, you can literally take two of your fingers and just barely grab it. You can toss it with one hand. I actually was tossing it on video with one hand and catching it. When you feel it, here's what I say about lithium-ion, it feels fake. You literally are like, this is not a real battery. This is a case.
And you know, and I haven't lifted one yet, but when I go backpacking in the wilderness, you're always looking to reduce weight. So we'll use lithium AA batteries. And they cost quite a bit more than a regular AA battery, but you carry the lithiums because they last longer and they're lighter. So yep. I would imagine that a larger size battery, like a motorcycle battery, would be lighter.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's like crazy substantial.
Feels like just a cardboard box or something with some feathers in it.
True. Yeah. It feels like the battery case, like they forgot to put the guts in it.
Yeah.
It feels like a lead
just
acid.
A plastic box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're like, there's no guts in here.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's because it's not full of lead, buddy.
Right. Exactly. No shit. Yeah. You got that right. Chris Lezak says a tender is pretty cheap. Yeah. And I've got them in this article, guys. The tender was like $35. We'll talk about chargers later. Mm-hmm. There are specific lead acid and lithium. We're going to break this down for you. So that's the one thing. So here's the deal. Lithium-ion batteries are generally smaller. Obviously, they're smaller and lighter. And here's the problem with that. When I say the smaller part of that. So what you want to make sure when you're buying, if you're going to switch to lithium-ion after this episode, and it's something that you want to do, what you have to make sure is if you just go out online and buy a lead acid that is right for your bike, what's going to happen is it's not going to fit in your battery compartment because it's way smaller. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah,
lithium-ion. Thank you for cleaning
no problem.
That. It's not going to fit in your battery. It'll fit in your battery compartment.
But it'll rattle around in there. So small.
Yeah.
But it would legitimately run your bike just fine.
Just fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you want to do is do what I did, and I have them in this article for you guys. You'll want to refer to the show notes. I have the ones that I bought. And what you want to look for is make sure that you buy one that is a replacement for your Hardy. So what they did on my Twin Power, the one I bought, is they make it a different case size.
So they
could actually make it way smaller.
The guts could be the same, but they make it the right case size so it fits in and it doesn't rattle around and it sits where the stock one's set.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's good information right there.
Good. And if you did buy one of the cheaper ones, and there is shit on the market, so be very careful. If it seems like it's too cheap, it's a cheap lithium-ion. Just the battery is the heartbeat of your bike. Don't skimp on a battery, guys. I've said it before. So the other thing, Lurch, is if you do get one of the smaller ones, and some guys do on sports bikes because they really are trying to go cheap. You can, they make shims. So you could get one that's smaller and it's not a stock case size. That's what you want to look for, one that's stock case size. They do make shims and different plastic blocks that you can shim them up in those compartments so they don't rattle around. Again, my message to you, my opinion is just get one that's a direct replacement for Harley stock case size. That'll save you a lot of frustration when it comes to that. So be aware when you're replacing your lithium-ion battery of your terminal placement. Okay. So you don't want to get one that's backwards, right? On the wrong side.
I did that once on my lawn tractor. Nice. What a pain in the ass. Yeah. You got to make sure you get your positive on the same side and your negative on the same side as your stock battery. Otherwise you're trying to crisscross your wires.
Yep. And this one that I bought, guys, this V, it's Twin V Power. You'll see it in the article. Twin Power lithium-ion battery. I've got the model number and everything in there for a touring bike. Now, interesting thing is this one is a Twin Power. Again, I've got affiliate links to this. This company reached out to me after I made this video, but is the DLF P30HL. Okay. Rob, Law Dog, we were just at a meeting the other night at his house, and he has a older wide glide, and he bought the DLF20HL, which is just a little bit smaller battery, so it fits in the wide glide case size. And I think it has a little bit less cranking amps because it's an older wide glide, so it doesn't need the cranking amps, for a 103 high output motor. I don't know that for sure.
Could be.
It's either a different case size. Yeah. It might have the same cranking amps. Don't quote me on that. I'm not going to look it up right now because you can look it up. It's irrelevant, but be aware of that. They do make the different sizes. And I was really happy. Like I said, we're using these twin powers on our police bikes. We're using them. And please go through our affiliate links, guys. If you do decide to purchase one of these, we'd really appreciate that. It helps support us and all that. So you have any questions before I move on? How's the chat going? More expensive, but lasts longer, save weight. Jesse Ciros. Sorry, yeah.
There is a question. I know we're going to get to it, but this is one that I've been fielding quite a bit in emails and on YouTube. But Larry Barnwell asked, my biggest question on lithium-ion is the bike's charging system is designed for lead-acid batteries, and I question it because it takes a special tender for it. Will it cause a problem? And I didn't know this. I had to reach out to you and ask, because you talk in the video about you need a special tender for it or a different tender. If that's the case, how does the bike charge it fine?
Okay.
Meaning how does it not over or undercharge? How does it all work out there where you can put a ion lithium in your bike, and how does it charge fine? But then later on you have to use a special tender. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I got it clear as fucking mud.
I know the answer, but I wanted to throw you the softball there.
You did. So good question. And we're not going to follow order here. I like this because I love being involved with the community and just taking the show where it goes. I was going to save that till the end. So,
well, I told him we were going to get to it, but then you asked me if there's anything in the Facebook. Sorry, in the
it makes the episodes more interesting.
Yeah, in the group there,
serving the community.
That's why I threw it out there.
Nice. So here you go.
So shut up and answer it.
So here you go. All right. So on a lithium-ion battery for your motorcycle, you are going to need a different tender. Again, it's in the show notes. The reason is, in a lead acid, you will need a different charger. There's also dual chargers, which is what I use. And you can hit a button and you can switch it between lithium-ion and lead acid. When you charge a lead acid, it charges to somewhere a little bit over 12 volts. Okay, 12.3, somewhere in there. That's as high as it goes. All right, that's as high as you want to charge a lead acid battery. In contrast, a lithium-ion battery charges to a little over 13 volts. All right, trying to dumb this down because we could get really technical. So if you put a lead acid charger on a lithium-ion battery, you are going to undercharge it. It's only going to charge. It needs over 13 volts. You want to keep your batteries topped. So you will undercharge it. If you put a lithium-ion charger on a lead acid battery, you are going to ruin the battery because you are going to overcharge it at over that 12.3 volts. You're going to pump it up to over 13 volts, and that's not good. So you want to have the right charger. When you talk about the charging system on your Harley-Davidson motorcycle, I encourage you to go back and search this website. We did a complete episode on rectifiers and regulators, and it really is detailed. If you want to look that up, the episode number on that, Matt, just type in rectifier or something. It'll bring it up.
Rectum?
Yeah, rectum. It was a really great episode on there and on all that. But so getting back to the point, so your Harley system, actually, if you start your bike, I also did a great one on testing your battery with a voltmeter. Bring that up too if you get a chance.
Yep. You want me to give the podcast there on the rectifiers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so,
well, that was the one with Evan Grist, man. That dude
totally
had a lot of information.
You want to listen to that, guys, if you haven't. That is evergreen content, okay? So basically your charging system, when your Harley's running, if you put a voltmeter on it like I teach you how to do in my video, it's going to charge at over 13 volts, okay, when the bike's running. But remember, you're also drawing a whole bunch of stuff when your bike's running. And so it's going to even out, and it's not a problem. That's the dumbest way to explain it. It's not going to be a problem because you're drawing all that kind of stuff while your bike's running, and it's going to be probably in that 12 volt. It just happens that your rectifier is charging it at over 13, so it can keep it and maintain it at that 12. Does that make sense?
It does. I can't post the link because I'm using my personal.
Oh, just say it.
Oh, okay. I'll just say the episode.
Just say it, because
I tried to put a link in there and it wouldn't let me do it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We need to fix that. We need to fix that for you.
Can you give me access to do that?
Guess we'll find out.
I guess we're going to find out, aren't we?
I don't know. At some point we need
I'll just
to
tell them it's for the everybody listening, and I'll type it in here as well. It's episode 134.
134. Listen to that. And then, Evan was on that really good. And
that dude had a lot of information.
Tons.
I really enjoyed that one. I wasn't on that, so I got to edit it. And then even after I edit it, I listened to it back again. He gives you a ton of good information about rectifiers and all that charging systems on the bike.
It was amazing. And I did an article on that.
Yeah.
I spent hours and hours of detailing that. So read that article too. Make notes of this, Matt, too, after the show, so I can make sure it makes it in the show notes. Okay. These episode numbers and stuff we referenced. Nice having a helper here. So nice. And also check my video on voltmeter testing. It's on YouTube. All you got to do is search for it. Test a motorcycle battery with a voltmeter on our channel. You'll find it, or on our website. So anything else on that sum it up. So you're going to be fine. And with your lithium ion, it's going to be charging it at over that 13 volts. And it's going to draw it a little bit, but it's all within this 1 volt range. So it's not going to be a problem. So I hope that answers that.
It does. Rob and I were chatting about this the other day when we all got together. And I guess the main concern is if I put this funky battery, this ion lithium battery in my bike, and I ride down the road, is it going to explode and blow my nuts off?
You don't got, and your nuts are too small to blow off, dude. Just straight off.
Whatever.
One for me, dude.
How would you even know?
One for me.
You've been looking?
Because I've been trying to find them, but I still can't find them.
So it was
two for me.
Anyways, so it was interesting to find out it was the opposite problem, that you would actually undercharge the ion lithium. So no, your bike won't. Your bike will appropriately charge it while you're riding. It will not blow your balls off. You just need to make sure that you use the right battery tender so that you give it enough juice to properly charge it, or you're always going to be undercharging it, which is not good for the battery.
And remember, your rectifier is sending your battery the right amount.
Right.
It's going to sense if it's over or under. That's what your rectifier is for.
Yeah.
It's regulating your battery. So if it needs more charge and it's a lithium, it's fine. And if it needs less charge, it's going to cut it off. Yep. It's going to cut it off. So you're golden. And that's just a wonderful question. And I know, Matt, I had to kind of educate him on it a bit because I had done all the research and did this video. And I know that was a question that had come up on the YouTube channel.
That's the most common question we get.
Yes. Wow. Good. All right. Moving on. Let me see what else I got. So we covered the weight. We covered the case size. Yep. We covered charging already. So let's do this, Matt, because we're cruising right along. How's chat going? Anything that came up there? Let me look. Rectifier and podcast.
Now they're talking about nuts.
Now they're glad D's nuts, Larry Barnwell, glad D's nuts will be okay. D's nuts. Love it, dude. Freaking funny stuff. Let's go down here, Matt. Bear with us. We're moving on down. Moving on down
the road.
Oh, yeah. I think we should do that right there. Let me see. Are you searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Then Zero 3D has just what you're looking for. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Zero 3D's got your back with chrome, lighting, and comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for a super easy installation. That equals less time installing, guys, more time riding. Zero 3D has a design team with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. These guys are bikers and care about bikers just like you guys. That's right. They pride themselves on the best of customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email, sales@zero3d.com, or give them a call at 715-808-0027. Zero 3D is distributed in the United States by Drag Specialties, in Europe by Parts Europe and Zodiac, and in Asia by Twin Art. Of course, don't forget to check your Harley-Davidson dealership and ask for Zero parts. Head over there right now. Check them out. lawabidingbiker.com/Zero, CIRO, and tell them that the Law Abiding Biker crew sent you. I got to wet my whistle during that one. Sometimes it's nice, dude. Sometimes it's nice. All right. So,
couple questions. I don't know if you got to it, so stop me if you already talked about it. How about the cranking amps? I mean, versus lead acid versus the ion lithium. Have you talked about that?
Oh, let's just talk about that.
Let's do that.
Which one? Who asked that? You got to shout names.
Nobody did. I asked it.
Oh,
I'm just trying to keep us on track here.
Lurch asked that. All right. Here we go. So lithium-ion batteries. Yes. This is the nice thing about the lithium-ion batteries is for their size, they have more cranking amps, cold cranking amps. All right. That's called CCA. What does that mean for you, bikeaholics? That means a more powerful starts. Who doesn't like a more powerful crank and start, Lurch?
Well, I love a good crank.
You love a good crank.
Ing.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah. And so there you go, guys. So as an example, the twin power, the one I use, the DLF30HL BSH I bought has 625 CCA cold cranking amps, whereas a typical lead acid counterpart, like the one I took out of my bike, only has about 400 to 500 CCA. So you ask, well, will the regular battery start my bike? Well, of course it will, because it comes stock in your bike. But like I said, ever since I got my 2014, it's always started, but it has that and it gets and it goes and it fires.
Even on a new battery.
Even on a brand. When I first got that bike, it was doing it. Does yours do that?
Mine does, yeah.
Yeah. So Lurch has the lead acid still in his Road Glide.
And for now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah, and coming soon, lithium-ion.
When it's time.
But, and so that's the first thing you'll notice. When I put that 625 CCA in there, it is snappy when I start. And it's just, it just fires, man. It fires and it's nice. And again, either's going to start your bike. Harley wouldn't put it in there if it wasn't enough cold cranking amps. But as your battery gets tired, that's going to become more apparent, like my lead acid became tired. And that progressed over time, that slower start. And you can hear it going. And that's why I knew mine. I was lucky. I knew I wasn't going to make it through maybe to spring if I was lucky. So there you go. More cold cranking amps. So again, there's a lot of benefits. Lighter, number one. One of the not benefits is it's more expensive, but also technically smaller if you wanted to go smaller. Especially guys that are riding different type of motorcycles, if you're looking for a weight, kind of deal, but lighter. And then of course the more cold cranking amps is another benefit to a lead acid. We're going to talk about some other benefits, or lithium ion. We're going to talk about more benefits of a lithium ion
right now.
Coming up.
So my question is, this sucker cost me an extra $100 versus a Harley replacement, most likely, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Around $100?
Yeah, that's about 30% more. $100 is a kind of an industry standard.
Is this thing going to last longer than the stock Harley battery or a lead acid battery?
That is the other nice thing, Lurch, and very nice question.
Well, thank you.
Yes. So there are, you're so Johnny on the spot, dude. This guy's Johnny on the spot, so I got him in here. He knows how to help me steer the ship.
Yeah, that's one of my nicknames, Johnny.
Johnny.
On the spot.
Johnny on the spot.
And you know what spot I'm talking about.
I know exactly what spot you're talking about. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, so they do. They last a whole bunch longer. So like I said, I just got, 4 years? Let's see, 13, 14, 15, 16, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so like 4 years out of my lead acid stock battery. These do. If you maintain lithium ions for that extra money, you're going to get quite a few years. In fact, I know guys right now that have had upwards of 8 years out of their well-maintained lithium-ion battery. And we're going to talk about that maintaining and some of the things I mean about that. So yeah, you're going to pay a little money up front. I paid, $100, $125 more for a lithium-ion. But man, when you're talking about that, double the life, that's going to vary, of course. But you're definitely, I think it's fair across the board to say that with your lithium ion, you're going to get a whole bunch more life. That's a great thing. The more cold cranking amps, the longer life, the not losing its charge 10% a year, that kind of stuff. So on that 10% a year. So yeah, like if you do, some of you guys I know are from Canada and stuff like that. Yes, we get snow here, but we don't have to put our bikes away that much. As long as they're not snow, we ride, even though it's cold. But you guys that get socked in with snow, talking about you guys that are actually going to store your bikes, all you have to do with the lithium ion, really, you don't even need to technically tender them all winter. disconnect your negative, like I said, let it sit. It's only going to lose 10%. Then the reason we want to disconnect that negative is because if you have parasitic draws on your bike, which we will talk about, remind me of that.
Parasites, barnacles.
Barnacles. You want to just disconnect that negative so you don't have it. And then in the spring, when you're ready to ride, you could hook your negative back up, tender it for a day to bring it back up over that 13 volts to make sure you're there, fire your bike, and you're golden. If you're going to leave your battery connected like I do, my lithium-ion, I leave my because I'm riding all the time. I tender it because I do, and I will talk about a parasitic draw. Like I said, I'm writing it.
I just typed it.
Okay. Because I don't want to, I don't want to take the risk, even during the week. Why not? I have a lithium-ion tender. That way I make sure and keep it, even though it's getting drawn by the alarm and stuff, I just keep it tendered and I'm always good to go. So if you're going to leave your battery hooked up, your lithium-ion, I would say get a tender it. Just like a lead acid. It never hurts to throw a tender and just keep your battery topped. You get more life out of it. All right. Did that answer that question?
It did. What else you got?
Okay. Let me look here. Okay, so one of the drawbacks to a lithium-ion that you guys might want to be aware is, if you consider it a drawback, and I don't, is that if you let a lithium-ion drop below 11 volts. So if you went to the restaurant or the hotel and you, for whatever reason, left your headlight on and your ignition on and you left it on all night, and you drop that lithium-ion battery and you dropped it to below 11 volts, technically speaking, you could lose that battery for good. Like, you might not be able to recover that. Like, you could hook it up to a charger. It may not come back. I say may not. I tested it for you guys. All right. Cold temps. Let's talk about that. I'm just making notes. So you may lose that battery. Where a lead acid, you may lose it too, especially if it's tired. But a lot of times we've drained lead acids and left headlights on, charged them, and they're good to go if it's not too tired. So it's not really a drawback unless you see it in the sense that you're going to leave your headlight on a lot and you for whatever reason can't remember to turn your headlight off and that kind of thing. So be aware of that. I will tell you, since we're talking about that, I tested it for you guys accidentally. So I didn't leave my headlight on. But I will tell you that, yes, on my bike, that's why I always tendered. I do have a parasitic draw, and that means just a draw that even though my bike's off, my bike is drawing power from different things.
You do have a few things installed on your bike over the years, right? We put a lot on and off of your bike over the years with different products, so who knows? I mean, sometimes you just get these. And even your
alarm is drawing.
That's a parasitic draw too, yeah, because it's constantly using power to flash that little light and do else things.
Right. Well, it's on guard.
Right.
So if the bike gets wiggled, right, it's on.
Yeah, not just light, but you're right, it's on.
And that over time is going to draw it. Well, I was really, really busy. Of course, I ride every day at my Leo Java motorcycle, so I'm lucky, so I don't actually go that long without riding. But it was like 3 weeks, and it was cold, and there was snowing off and on, and I actually had to bring a car home for a little bit. So anyways, like 3 weeks, and I didn't tender it, and I didn't disconnect the negative, and I had a parasitic draw. And I took that battery, that brand new lithium-ion, all the way down to 0.006 on the voltmeter. Dead as
Almost
shit.
Almost killed it completely.
Completely dead. Russell Roberts, see you guys later, Canada Bell. Hey, did Russell hear his opener?
I don't know if he did. He popped in a little bit later in the chat, so he might have missed the opener. You might have to just give him a little note, say, hey, man, when you hear some podcast.
Russell, we opened with your podcast. Did you hear it? Yeah, Russell, we opened with part of your podcast opener for Long Haul Life and gave you props, bro. So make sure you
shout
listen.
Out.
Yeah. Okay, where was it? Oh, so I dumped my battery to 0.006, and I was like, I just fucking ruined this battery. It's a brand new $300 some odd battery.
Way to go, Erlacher.
I literally got a sick pit in my stomach, but I go, well,
you could screw up a wet dream.
Yeah, I could. You know what the other part was though, Matt? I thought to myself, this is what the community wants to hear. How better than a real life test? All right. So I tested it, and I put it back on the lithium-ion charger. I actually took the battery out of the bike and put the clamps on it, set it up on the workbench because I thought I lost it. Recharged it overnight with the lithium-ion charger, and I left it for 2 days because I was busy. I brought it back, threw it in the battery compartment, and it came back to 13 plus volts on the voltmeter, no problem. Fired the bike right up. I've been running it for weeks. Not a problem. I got that battery back even though I took it below that 11 volts. It's just a possibility, depending on how it happens, that it could ruin it. So they caution against it. Didn't ruin it in my case. And that battery is snappy. Man, it fires my bike right up. And again, I've been testing it for several weeks since then. It holds a charge. I tested it. So what I did is I put it back in my bike and I wanted to know, do I have a parasitic draw? Mm-hmm. So I didn't tender it. And every night when I got home from work, I would put the voltmeter on it. Every night it just slowly went down. And finally it got below 12 volts and then it went down to like 12.1 volts. This took like 5-6 days. So it's definitely a slow parasitic draw. But once it gets to a level, they go down faster. And so there you go. That's how I learned the hard way. Luckily, I didn't have to learn too hard, but I get to share that information with you guys. So don't be overly concerned about that possible drawback, because it's not necessarily a drawback as seen in my case. Mm-hmm. Does that help? Is that helpful?
It does.
Very good.
What about cold temperatures? You want to get into that?
Let's do that.
Go for it.
Right after this.
Oh, sorry.
Are you searching for the easiest and quickest attachable luggage system for your motorcycle, guys? Mm-hmm. Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint.
Slap your paint!
Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attach strapless luggage rack systems. This father-son team designed something really special that you can't find anywhere else. Yep. And these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers like you guys out there. The Rick Rack Quick Attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. Rick Rack! Rick Rack! That's right. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics? Head over to the Law Abiding Biker store and check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. lawabidingbikers.com/store is how you get hooked up there. Cold temperatures is what we're talking about. So I tested this on my video, if you guys watched it, under very scrutinized, controlled environment. Yeah. Did you see the video?
I watched some of it.
I'm smoking a cigar, dude, and I have rubber gloves on, and I go under very controlled, and it's B-roll over the top of it, and I'm saying under very tight, controlled environment. I'm testing the cold temperatures, and I got a cigar, and I'm blowing smoke, and I'm putting the battery in my freezer with meat and stuff, dude. So it was kind of a joke. It's in my battery comparison video at the end.
Yeah, I watched some of it, but I don't know if I recall that.
Yeah, it's at the end.
Maybe I just, you know what, I didn't. I probably watched 3/4 of it and then turned you off.
Yeah, you probably got distracted by porn.
Learned.
Probably porn.
That's true.
You got a separate open with porn.
Well, you always have to have two screens and two windows. I mean, one for porn, one for work. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I watched all the way through, maybe. I just watched what I needed to hear and I turned it off.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so I did a test.
But how did the cold affect him?
Well, here we go. So let's see if I can put that in here. Cold testing.
Because I have killed batteries in the cold, lead acid batteries from like in my travel trailer, sitting outside, not stored, not tendered, not plugged in, and killed them because of cold winter.
Yes. So I tested my lithium-ion. I placed it in my freezer for a bit over 2 hours at 12 degrees. I had one of those little meters, lasers.
Read meter.
12 degrees Fahrenheit. I then tested it. I took it out of the freezer immediately, and I dumped it on my bike. It probably took me 2 minutes to install because all I did was hooked up the terminals. I popped it in there, used the terminals, hooked them up, and it fired right up. Now, here's what's supposed to happen. They say is lithium-ion. This is one of you'll hear this online. It's not a drawback. It's dumb to call it a drawback, but I want to be fair. Is lithium-ion batteries technically go to sleep when it's cold? Okay.
What's that mean?
Okay, here we go. So basically, that's what they do. They shut down to preserve themselves. They go to sleep. So what that means is technically, if you meet the requirements for that cold weather environment, mine did not go to sleep. 2 hours in a 12-degree freezer. I think you have to keep your bike like outside for like 5 days in sub-freezing temperatures for it to actually go to sleep. It takes a lot. So if you did get your lithium-ion battery to go to sleep, all that means is you go out to your bike and you turn the ignition on. It's not going to it's going to take a second to wake up. It needs something. It needs to be commanded.
So it recognizes the fact that you've asked it to do something. It takes a little while.
Yes.
So
the way you do it,
turns a little safety off, if you will, and
yes.
then you're able to use it.
Well, and
How's that
so
work?
here's what you do. Okay. So if it were to go to sleep and you turn your ignition on and nothing really happened, or all you got to do is bump your starter a couple times, or a lot of guys just turn their headlight on, that starts commanding the battery for juice. Okay. I know it seems like a lead acid, but it might take it just a second, but it doesn't take long. A lot of guys just bump their starter a couple times and it won't start. You won't hear anything. But by bumping it, you're drawing and it's telling it, hey,
wake up.
Wake back up, quit hibernating, and boom.
Because it doesn't have some kind of processor or something? Or?
Oh, it's a whole computer.
Yeah. Explain that, because I don't think we talked about that at all.
Yeah, good. So I
think that'll help explain what we're talking about right now.
Yes, good. So your lithium-ion is actually, it's got a computer in it, and that's how it talks to the lithium-ion charger. There are other brands of battery that have very specific, different style chargers, and you can put it on slow charge and storage charge. I don't get that with the twin power. I don't get that technical. I just put a regular tender on it because that's what it's made for. But yeah, it's basically always thinking. It knows its level. It knows what to do. It knows when to go to sleep. And again, I couldn't get it to go to sleep, so I don't think it's really going to be a problem. But yeah, it's always thinking. It's monitoring itself to produce what it needs to produce for you.
I think that explains it better. Yeah, so when you're bumping that starter, it's talking to that processor going, hey, give me some power, give me some power, give me some power. And finally you get it?
Yes.
When it wakes up? Okay, I get that.
So
I think the audience understands that now too.
James McKinley says, hell, I go to sleep when it's cold too. Good one, buddy. When it's what is a bigger battery killer, age or mileage? My Street Glide Special is a 2015, but it has 63. Mark Arnold, what is a bigger battery killer, age or mileage? Age. Yeah, I don't think, I would think age is just, because I don't think you can, the way we run our police bikes, I will tell you, every traffic stop we do, tons every day in every collision where bikes are on, off, and we've been using lead acid. So I don't think it's necessarily the amount of times you use them. I think it's the age of the battery that it tends to go. That's my opinion.
I would agree. A lot of times those two kind of go together. But knowing Mark, Arnold, who asked the question, he rides the shit out of his bike.
He's very smart too.
Yeah, so he might be putting on more mileage than your average guy. But even with that said, I think that probably age would be more of a killer than mileage.
Right. Good question, Mark. Thanks. Good to see you, buddy. One of our Canadian guys up there, and I know. Yeah, you betcha. And I got to hang with him this summer. So cold weather. There you go. If it is, again, a drawback, bump your starter a couple times, run your headlight for 10, 15 seconds, just leave your ignition on. The battery's going to wait because it's getting a draw now. It takes a little bit because of that computer and the fact that it hibernated. It hibernates for a reason. It preserves itself.
Well, will my lead acid hibernate and will it come back? Well, what do you mean? Why not?
Well, because it doesn't have a computer in it.
That's right.
It'll just go dead.
It just freezes and it's dead. Yeah. I killed them in my trailer.
Yeah, cold weather will kill your battery if you don't tender it. For sure, right?
Yeah, my old travel trailer didn't have the onboard tender like mine does now. Now I just plug it in and it keeps the battery up. But my old one didn't do that. And I had one sitting out there too long and I forgot to take it out, in the fall.
Right.
And take it inside and put it on tender. So it's sitting out on the trailer all winter and it just killed it.
I did that with my tractor.
Froze the shit out.
I tender my tractor now too, yeah. Mm-hmm. Good way to dump any battery is, not to maintain it and put it in the cold. So good. So that was so not only did I test it cold weather for you guys, I also tested the going dead, completely dumping a lithium-ion. So, and I can tell you, get whatever battery you want, use our banners page, lawabidingbiker.com/banners, one of our affiliate banners, or go to this article. And I have the Twin Power, the exact one I used. Again, I'm not affiliated. They reached out to me after I put this video within days. They were super stoked that I did that. I wasn't expecting it. And I do stand by that product only because I've used it on police bikes and on my personal. There's always, also I've heard good things about, I put in here the Western Power Sports. I've heard really good things about that. It's in here. And then there's the anti-gravity batteries I've got Revzilla, Amazon, JMP Cycles, all the affiliate links. Again, no additional cost to you, but if you click through and do purchase a battery, guys, we do get a small kickback. So I'm just reading through my article to make sure I get everything because we've jumped ahead. We've talked about tenders Okay, so let's talk about anything else in that article. Scroll through it while I talk about this and make sure I haven't missed any. So let me talk about this, guys. So if you're purchasing any motorcycle battery, here's what you want to make sure. And I know we love this online world. Maybe eventually in our store, and I'm talking to Twin Power about that, we'll see, end up carrying their battery in our law-abiding biker store and a couple other batteries that we believe in for you guys, again, in our store that we've tested. But here's a couple things you want to think about. I get it. Online is great. I would not buy a battery. I know a lot of people like Amazon. That's great. You have to be careful at Amazon because you guys don't really know who you're buying from all the time. You can look and it's kind of ambiguous on how you figure that out. You're probably not going to get the kind of customer service with a battery, and you got to worry about warranty. You can. I'm not telling you not to. We do have affiliate links for it, but here's the decision you have to make when you're buying a lead acid or a lithium ion or a lead acid is, what are would the store you buy it from? Because you got to worry about warranty. Oh, that's the other thing. Lithium ions usually have a 2-year warranty where lead acids only have a 1-year warranty. You'll usually got a longer warranty out of a lithium ion. When you're buying online, find out what the return policy is, because if your battery goes bad in a year and you have a warranty, do you have to pay for shipping? Are you going to have to go through the manufacturer, or are you going to go through the company you bought it from? Again, this is a battery. It's a little bit different than a lot of products if it does go bad. Also shipping. What kind of shipping charge are you going to have to pay for a battery? Although they're lighter, it's still a kind of a bulky thing to ship a lithium ion. So I would just caution you, if you do buy it online, find out what that warranty is. If it does go bad, who handles shipping? Do you have to go straight through the distributor? How, because you're out of battery now, your bike's down. This is a big deal. So my only thing is, check that out before you buy it and make sure. Probably never going to have an issue. Probably you're with your warranty. You're probably going to be fine. Probably sort of all that kind of stuff. But in the event, right? And check your shipping charges, because it doesn't make any sense if it's going to cost an arm and a leg because of the weight. And we ship stuff. We know some stuff's really expensive to ship, and it sucks, and it is what it is. So do me a favor on that. Check your return policy, check your warranty, all that kind of stuff. And again, I would love you to shop through our affiliate links, of course, if you're going to buy it online, but we are very honest and open here. That's one product where if you're not going to use our affiliate links, it might not be a bad idea to buy at a local motorcycle shop or your dealership, only because it's something to think about. Yeah, we're not getting a kickback because you're not buying it through our affiliate link, but I want to make sure it's best for you guys out there for your hassle. That might be one product that you buy through the dealership, because if it goes bad and you're out of battery, you can walk down to the dealership, set it on their counter and say, I want a replacement. And if they keep them in stock, then you've got an instant replacement where you might have to wait a week. You see what I'm saying? Does that make good points?
That's totally fair.
And I just want to be open and honest with you guys that, even though we're not getting a kickback, I would rather you be happy. So that's why I caution you, just be careful that you know what you're doing online. You can get some deals, but when you think of it that way, it's not always a great deal, because if it does go bad and it's the middle of summer, you're effed. What you're probably going to do is end up going buying one from your dealership and sending that one back and trying to get a refund, or it just becomes a weird deal. There, look at my picture. See?
No, there you are.
That's me smoking a cigar with the battery, putting it in the freezer. That's the cover of my YouTube video, dude. That's my sterile environment. But I have gloves on, dude. I've got prophylactic gloves, dude.
Yeah, you need to get some black ones instead of those weird little purple ones. I don't think I watched that video. I watched the install video.
Oh, you need to watch that one.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that one. I watched your other one. That's why when you're talking about it, it didn't seem familiar to me. I watched the install video, but I did not watch your little comparison and messing around in the freezer.
Yes. Now, we love our patrons. They're involved in this private live video and chat. But if the only way you can support us is through donation, of course, we appreciate that. We never balk at a flat donation. Leonard Conway of Midlothian, Virginia, also a patron. Unbelievable. Brian Can of Saugus, Massachusetts. Martin Gavrilla of Hollywood, Florida. Thanks so much. lawabidingbiker.com/donate if that's how you want to support us. We'd love to have you as a patron instead, because we can get to know you better in the private Facebook group. We can throw you some shirts and stickers and stuff. But hey, I get it. Some people just like flat donations. And of course, never balk at that.
I love the fact that every one of those had one word or name that was kind of hard to pronounce in there.
Totally.
Seems like sometimes I feel like I always get them. But yeah, every one of those had a last name or a city or something that was a little bit difficult. So cheers. I'm glad you got that.
I did. I got the hard one.
The one thing I did notice, and I think it's the only thing, and maybe you said it and I apologize because I've also been paying attention to the chat, is that you say the lithium ions charge faster than the lead acids.
Where did I say that?
It says right there in your second paragraph.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of stuff I don't want to miss. Larry Barnwell in the private chat, patron, says, what? That really a cigar? LOL. Yes, it was really a cigar.
That is a backwoods.
A backwoods honeyberry to be exact there,
Yeah.
Mr. Larry Barnwell. Mm-hmm. You know it. Probably have one tonight before Lurch leaves.
Guaranteed. Pretty much guaranteed.
Because we got one more podcast recorded to do.
Dinner and a podcast.
So yes, they do. Let's see, what paragraph?
Second paragraph, it's probably...
Charge faster. They do. So good quality lithium-ion batteries are lighter, smaller, charge faster, hold their charge longer, which is true, last longer overall, have better warranties, and often have more cold cranking amps. However, they are more expensive than lead acid, but the cost may be well worth it. Like I've said, on average, a lithium-ion battery costs 30% more than a lead acid. So, there you go. And again, we talked about stock case. I think I want to make sure we covered everything. And again, the video is going to be in here. We just wanted to take questions and talk about it a little bit more and give it to you guys in podcast format because I put a lot of work into this video. I've also got a very similar video on a tire comparison. It's it's going to be snappy like this.
It's in the hopper?
It's in the hopper. It's completely informational, and you can read as well as you can listen to these very batteries. So those are the three we have in there. I'm just talking out loud, guys. We've talked about chargers. You know I love you guys. Yeah, Larry Barnwell says, yeah, good to have all you guys in the chat. Thank you. Oh, John Herzog was in there. Side note, Matt, how do you like the Bassani pipes? Let's answer that question.
Oh, I love them. They're a really good option, especially if you're looking at cost. They are a solid, well-built pipe. They go right in place of the stock headers. They have a crossover, so they're kind of like the Vance Hines power duals, meaning that they're not a straight pipe from the header all the way back. You're getting a good balanced, I don't know how you say that, but they're balanced because they have a crossover tube between the two pipes. But they're a really good price point. Don't hold me to this, but they're in the 300 level, aren't they, Ryan? Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Versus the 500
right.
level.
Yeah,
So, you
totally.
You can save $150, $200 somewhere in there. Don't quote me on that, but it's really close because they reuse the stock heat shields.
Yep.
So they go right in place of your stock headers, and then you can throw some nice slip-ons on to kind of really even out the package. But you get to get the cats out, so you got a lot less heat, especially when you're sitting at a stoplight in the summer and that cat's just cooking, and heat's going right up into your tenderloins, and nobody likes a swampy butt. So by getting rid of that cat, you get rid of some of that heat, and they're very, very economical header for the price, and the quality's awesome. Been very happy with them.
And we did if you don't know what he's talking about, he says, thanks for the shout out. Absolutely. John Herzog, thanks for being here. Really glad to have you in here. All you guys. Yeah. So we did a video on that. Search the site, go to our site. How do they do that, Lurch?
You can just go to the top right corner of pretty much any page and you'll see a search function. Put Bassani headers in there, hit enter, and you will get a ton of information.
Yep.
And you can do that with anything. Just if you've got a question, a lot of people will email us and ask us, which is fine. We have no problem. We'll get to you when we have time. But if you want an instant answer, go on to our webpage, lawabidingbiker.com. Go to the search function. Put in your question or what you're looking for.
Put in your query.
Your query, whatever you're thinking about, headers, exhaust, shocks, whatever, floorboards. Put it in there.
Battery tender.
Yeah, you'll find a wealth of information.
Voltmeter.
Because I got to tell you, we have so much content, we can't remember it all.
5 years of it, Matt. 5 years of content, guys.
That's just nuts. We're talking about nuts again.
Nuts. Nuts.
You and I use that search function to answer people's questions because it'll answer us, have you done a video on this? Have you talked about that? And we'll throw it in our search, and then we'll dump that information in there.
Sometimes I'll just copy the URL of the search because it gives them like 10 articles.
I do that quite often too. Yep.
So that's a way to get a quick answer. You can do that on our YouTube channel too. A lot of people don't know that on our YouTube channel, there's a search bar. You can search for anything you want. You'll come up with all kinds of results, guys, because it may be a day or two, 3 before we can get back to you. So here's one thing I wanted to note, and we are winding this down, guys. Yeah, they're talking in there. James McKinley, dude, I shred tires. Need to put set on my wife's bike before Laughlin. Think the tire will be on there. But yeah, I'm hoping to release it, that video in the next couple weeks. It's basically that video. I'll just announce it right here real quick. We're going to get off track, but it's
we usually do
the Dunlop American Elite versus the Michelin Commander 2. And it's a very comprehensive, very snappy, like the battery video, and both in a police sense for performance and both tires. And as far as their distance, it will be out. And hopefully before you go to Laughlin, I'll try to pump that out for you, brother. Thanks for asking. I put a lot of work into that video. So it's a question that gets asked a lot, which is why I bumped it up on the priority list. So look forward to that coming out. But here, make sure, here's one thing I'll tell you guys. So you say a lot of questions. One of the questions didn't come up. So Lurch, I buy a lithium-ion and it's good for, let's just say I get 8 years out of it. Well, I trade my bike every 3-4 years. It's a waste. Here's what I would tell you I'm going to do. When you buy a new bike at the dealership, or if you buy it used, make it a condition. That bike that I'm buying, my battery, swap it. I want my lithium-ion, depending on the life of it. If you're at 7 years, F it, or whatever. But if you're only 2 years with the lithium-ion or 3 years, that right there, just tell the dealership, I want my lithium-ion in there. You keep your lead acid, put it back in the bike I'm trading in, and swap batteries. That way,
why would they care? They're getting a brand new battery.
They don't care.
And you get your lithium-ion.
They'll sell you the bike regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's no big deal to them.
Yep, no big deal to them. They stay, it's easy. So that's what I would do. So don't worry about that. I know it may be a question out there for guys, on when you're trading your bike in or selling it and stuff like that. So so here's the deal. We talked about a lot of things. Really, let's just talk about the ups and downs real quick, and we're going to take it out. So I don't have a list in front of me, but lithium-ion, what are your downsides that you learned in this episode?
You got a little bit more cost.
Okay.
They can go to sleep, but then again, you said that wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
I couldn't get it to do it.
It's protecting the battery, whereas a lead acid's going to freeze and die.
And what do you do to wake it up? Should it go to sleep?
You just turn your ignition on, you bump your starter a few times, or leave your headlight on, and it'll sense that it's asking, that your bike's asking something from it, and it'll kick on. Give me some juice. Give me some juice. Downsides, that's about it, right? I mean, cost and fact that
if you dump it below 11 volts, it possibly to lose it.
Toast. But then again, so could a lead acid if you draw it all the way down.
Right.
Not necessarily if it's newer. Okay, what's your next question?
So what's the positives?
Positive, you're definitely going to lose some weight. It's a lot lighter. It's got more cranking amps. It sounds like it won't freeze, although they talk about that being a negative, but it won't freeze. It is... You can get a smaller one if you necessarily want to.
But it's lighter either way.
It's lighter, it's smaller, it charges faster, holds its charge longer, lasts longer, has better warranties, and more cold cranking amps. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that in a sense, that's some of the key points. And I appreciate you picking up on those as we went through this episode. And I hope you guys picked up on them too. So you ask me. Now that I've tested, I've had it for a couple months. I think now a couple months. And I had them before on our police bikes on that, and we're going to switch our police bikes over to that too for the motor part of it, not our extra computers and lights and stuff. And let's just talk about this real quick. The tenders, you're looking at like 35. I've got an affiliate link I'm bumping through on this article. So for the dual battery tender junior, 800 is what it is. It's a flooded gel or lithium. $34.99, and I've got the Amazon link to that, and I think I have a couple other links. And then there's a Bike Master. You'll see this one too, the Bike Master. It's $29.83. It's just a lithium-ion. It's not a dual. I like for $5 more, you can get the dual. That way I can switch it between my tractors and whatever you have, guys.
And your other ones are, your regular lead acid ones you might be able to find them as low as about $25. Just depends. So the cost is really similar. And if it was me, I agree with you. I'd buy the dual so that I can charge two things with it.
David Schwartz asked a great question in the private patron-only chat. What about if your battery dies and you need to jump on the road with a lithium? No problem. Good question. Something I didn't cover, but I know the answer. You can jump a lithium just like you can jump a lead acid. And that's and I appreciate that, David Schwartz, straight from Israel. awesome, brother. Shout out Israel. I know where he's from. Yeah, so no problem. And that's some of the things over time. What do you call them? Misnomers?
Well, I think we answered
mystery about lithium ions.
Yeah, you answered it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, okay.
So if you have a lead acid battery and
I have a lithium ion.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, if I was to,
Gotcha.
If yours wasn't starting for whatever reason, let's say you had a parasitic draw and you got down a little too low,
right?
You got juice, but it's not enough to crank it over. I throw a jumper from a lead acid battery to your lithium. It's still going to start it. It's just it's the same.
Yep, no different. So awesome question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It'll do it.
Because I wouldn't have answered that on this episode. That's what I love about having this live chat in here. It keys us. So there you go. Jump starting the same.
No big deal.
There is nothing mysterious about a lithium ion except that it's a way better alternative. If you can afford
you just need
the extra $100, I just don't see a lot of drawbacks to it at this point. If you follow what I told you about parasitic draws, keep it. If you do have parasitic draws, you're not going to disconnect the negative. Keep it. You should do that with a lead acid. That's the thing. What I'm telling you, how to maintain a lithium is the same thing.
Yeah. If you're storing a car over the winter, you should disconnect it or tender it.
Right. And both in some cases. Lead acid, I would tender and disconnect it because it loses 1% per day on top of parasitic draws. So it can lose 1 to 3%, like was mentioned earlier. So for all those reasons, at the end of the day, I want to make sure, Lurch, we covered. We got all those.
So Moose, which I think 3971, if I'm correct, I think his name was Jason, but he says, I carry one of those jump boxes. It's lithium. And I have one of those as well. I've got one in my work car. It's a lithium jump pack. The thing is tiny. It's this big, Ryan.
We burned a couple. I know. We burned a couple in Canada.
We did that because the battery was...
Correct.
The battery was F.
I have one too.
The battery was
F.
But I have one that's that big, which the audience isn't listening.
We're trying to find one to carry in our store.
There's one about that big. So my jump pack is like about 4 inches by 6 inches, and that's it. And so that big old bulky heavy lead acid, it's a lithium one. It's tiny, but yeah, those things have a lot of cranking power.
So there you go. I think he's keying on, is it any different? No, because those are made of lithium. And so, there's a reason they're made of lithium because you can get so much more power out of a small thing.
And you can jump lead acids with those.
Correct.
Right? So vice versa is good.
We're trying to find the best one so that we can carry it in our store. We just haven't got around to that. But for you guys, we all carry them. There's so many. They're a dime a dozen now. Mm-hmm.
I have one question.
Well, that's too bad.
Go
ahead.
You're not going to let me ask it? Ask it?
Go ahead. I just want to dick with you. I'm hungry and I smell food.
I know, it smells great. So would you, even if your lead acid battery was good, would you trade it out or would you wait till your lead acid went out?
I would trade it out. That's me, though.
It's that much better.
If you can afford it.
Sure.
And again, everybody's on a different budget, and I get that. So I'm always conscious of that. Is a budgetary issue. If it's like not in the works, just ride your lead acid out. But if you have the money and that's not really a huge concern of yours, I would trade it out. The cranking apps and just that kind of stuff on it is just amazing. And your bike's going to fire quicker and all that kind of stuff. It charges faster, the lightness of it, the fact that it's so much. If you're a tree hugger, I'm not meaning that in a bad way, but we're all concerned, right, to a certain extent about the environment in different ways. They're definitely way better on the environment. Lead acid are the most horrible thing on the environment. They're very poisonous, and we all know. I mean, it burns if you spill it, it burns your fucking shirt. There's a problem with that. Like I have holes in my shirts from lead acid.
It's the acid, yeah.
They're not great. So, for the longevity, you can take it to your next bike, I don't think it's a bad deal. Is it 100% necessary? No. But if money is not a huge concern and it's in your budget, I say switch it out. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. And it was so nice to install, dude, because I'm putting in the battery compartment with like 2 fingers, and I had to take it out because I dumped it and I was testing. I accidentally drew it down. Taking it in and out. If you wanted to take it out for the winter and throw it on your workbench, you could. They're amazing to handle. I say,
and it's going to make your bike faster and get better gas mileage.
You'll actually get at least 100 more horsepower.
At least 100 horsepower.
You'll probably be doing wheelies. You probably won't be able to keep your front wheel.
The bike's going to be so damn light, it won't even stay down.
Yeah, you'll probably be able to burn out better. I mean, you'll probably get laid more. More ladies will come up to your bike like, hey, is that a lithium-ion under your seat? Is that a lithium-ion? Yeah, so what do you got?
I'm just saying we're getting towards the end of this episode, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah,
we're having a lot of fun, but I think we got to wrap it up because my gut's hurting and I smell the food downstairs.
I get it. It's like Chrome just adds power. Yeah, totally. So you ask me, regardless if you're going to change your lead acid out right now, to wrap this episode up, here's the deal. You ask me.
I did ask you.
What am I going to do?
What
is Ryan going to do? Well, I'll tell you now that on the motor, on a regular personal bike, not a police bike, but my personal bike, personal bikes, we have an extra right now in the shop that we're doing some projects on. I will never buy another lead acid battery ever again unless I was so broke, which can happen. Trust me, been there. That I couldn't afford, and I just had to pinch pennies. You never know what life brings up: family problems, medical problems. Yeah. So in that case, you got to save money. Get a lead acid. At least you still get to ride, right? But if you can afford that extra $100, if it's in you to afford that, I will never, if I can afford that the rest of my life, I'll never go back to lead acid after I've tested this. The lithium-ion is the bee's knees. Did you hear that? I don't even know what the bee's knees is. Well, but apparently bee's knees are cool. I don't understand that saying, but the bee's knees is
They're
cool.
fine as frogs' hair.
There you go, dude. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do from now on. And as my batteries go bad, I'm just busy right now. I'm going to be switching them out because I think the Lowrider S it's probably getting close to. So, yep, I'm definitely going to be switching to that. So any last questions? And we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, private patron only members get to see this live. We're going to continue this in 2018. Understand we batch process. So some of you email us and say, when's the next live? We'll tell you. Make sure you sign up for the live list, lawabidingbiker.com/live. In the upper right-hand corner is an email list. The only emails you'll get is when we're going live. Make sure you have alerts on your phone turned on for when we do new posts on Patreon, because we post and we put the private link to this video in there. As long as you have all that stuff on and you're on that email list, we're going to give you the notifications you need so that you don't miss a live episode and you can be involved. Pablo Calcerada's in there. Did you hear, brother? We played your new opener song, man. I don't know how long he's been in here, but we're also going to play your closer song here right frickin' now. Nice time to jump in, brother. You must have timed that. Pablo made this song for us too, so good job. So we're going to take it out here, guys. Call to action. Don't get stranded, bikeaholics. Get hooked up with our Cruise Tools RTH3 roll-up travel toolkit for Harley-Davidson and American-made V-twin motorcycles. Why get stranded over some stupid little repair? This quality-made toolkit has everything you need for a roadside emergency repair. Tested and used by the law-abiding biker crew. Used it in our Canada trip, in fact. Yep, it has our mushroom stamp of approval. Nice. Get it already. That's the Cruise Tools RTH3 kit. We brought it right to you in the Law Abiding Biker store for you. lawabidingbiker.com/store. Nothing but 5-star freaking reviews. Big Daddy Kane, Brian White, Grunt down in the Law Abiding Biker store have them in stock. I guarantee it, on the shelves, ready to ship to you right this very minute. With that said, thanks for being here, guys. My wife's got food ready. We smell it up here in the studio. We're going to head down and eat, and then we're going to record a regular podcast episode right after this, and it'll be all on the Biker Gripper and GoPro and Zero and Rick Rack GoPro mounts is what we're going to do that episode on. So thanks for being here live. We're out. What do you say, Lurch?
I guess we're out. You killed the audio.
It loops. We're out.
Like
Thanks,
a trout.
Live audience. We really appreciate you guys being here. We really, really do.